Have you watched the previous episode's video? Welcome to the story of this episode, Chapter 28, The Fierce Battle with the Monster Leader and the Turning Point. Sumu fully activated his spiritual power shield. The black spiritual power beam hit the shield like a cannonball, erupting with a blinding light and a deafening zhu sound. The powerful impact made Sumu's arms go numb, and his feet involuntarily left two deep marks on the ground. His whole body was shaken and stepped back several paces. Sumo gritted his teeth, feeling the spiritual power shield on the verge of collapse under the impact of the spiritual power beam, as if it could shatter the next second. He knew he had to attack as soon as possible. Otherwise, once the shield broke, he would face the even more violent attacks of the monster leader. Taking advantage of a slight weakening of the spiritual power beam, Sumu threw his spiritual power long sword with all his might. The long sword shot towards the monster leader like a silver bolt of lightning with a fierce momentum. The monster leader reacted extremely quickly. It nimbly sidestepped, easily avoiding this sharp strike. Then, it pushed hard on the ground with its four limbs, and its whole body pounced towards Sumo like a black bolt of lightning. Its sharp claws glinted with cold light, aiming straight at Sumu's throat with clear and vicious intent. Sumu quickly leaped backward. At the same time, he condensed spiritual power in his hand and instantly formed a spiritual power dagger. The monster leader missed its target, but it reacted promptly. It spun in the air and rushed towards Sumu again like a ghost. Sumu seized the opportunity and waved the spiritual power dagger, slashing hard at the monster leader's claws. With a tear sound, the spiritual power dagger left a deep mark on the monster leader's claws, and black blood immediately flowed out, filling the air with a pungent fishy smell. The monster leader let out an angry roar. Its body trembled slightly, and the spiritual power around it began to surge wildly, as if ignited by its anger. Then, it opened its huge mouth and spat out the black spiritual power beam again. This time, the beam was thicker and faster than before, like a black torrent sweeping towards Sumu. Sumu couldn't dodge in time and was grazed by the spiritual power beam on his shoulder. A sharp pain hit him instantly, and his body was involuntarily sent flying backward, falling heavily to the ground. Sumo struggled to his feet. A trace of blood oozed from the corner of his mouth, but there was no sign of retreat in his eyes. Instead, they were filled with determination. He quickly circulated his reverse, time spiritual power. This time, he didn't just rely on the reverse, time spiritual power to slow down the time flow rate. He tried to integrate the reverse, time spiritual power with his attacking spiritual power, attempting to create a new form of attack to deal with the powerful attacks of the monster leader. The monster leader pounced towards Sumo again, and Sumo charged towards it. At the moment of approaching, Sumo released the attacking spiritual power integrated with reverse time spiritual power. A strange light shot out from his hand. The light contained the power of time distortion and directly hit the monster leader. The monster leader's body suddenly froze under the impact of the light. Its originally rapid movements instantly became sluggish, as if time had slowed down for it. Every movement of it became difficult and slow. Sumo seized this opportunity and rushed forward in a flash. The spiritual power dagger in his hand stabbed hard at the monster leader's chest. The monster leader tried to struggle, but under the influence of the reverse, time spiritual power, its resistance seemed a bit feeble. The spiritual power dagger smoothly pierced the monster leader's chest, and black blood gushed out like a fountain. However, the monster leader didn't fall. It let out an earth-shattering roar, and the spiritual power on its body erupted wildly. It actually managed to break free from the restraint of the reverse, time spiritual power by force. It waved its claws and launched a crazy attack towards Sumu. Each wave brought about a powerful spiritual power fluctuation. Sumu could only resist with all his might. Several more wounds appeared on his body, and his clothes were dyed red with blood, but he still held his ground firmly, refusing to take a step back. Just when Sumu was gradually feeling overwhelmed, he suddenly noticed that every time the monster leader attacked, a faint light would flicker on a wound on its chest, seemingly affecting its movements. An idea occurred to Sumu. He realized that this might be the monster leader's fatal weakness. Sumu pretended to be defeated and deliberately revealed a flaw to lure the monster leader. The monster leader fell for it. Seeing that Sumu seemed to be running out of strength, a glint of excitement and greed flashed in its eyes. It pounced towards Sumu fiercely, its claws grabbing hard at Sumu's head. Sumu seized the opportunity, slightly shifted his body, and deftly avoided the monster leader's attack. At the same time, he concentrated all the spiritual power in his body into his right hand and thrust it hard into the wound on the monster leader's chest. A powerful spiritual power burst out from Sumu's hand, directly destroying the spiritual power core inside the monster leader. The monster leader let out a shrill scream. Its body trembled violently, and then it crashed to the ground, dissipating into a cloud of black smoke in the air, leaving only a faint spiritual power fluctuation to prove its once existence. Sumu looked at the place where the monster leader had dissipated and let out a long sigh of relief. This fierce battle with the monster leader had almost exhausted all his spiritual power and physical strength, but with his tenacious will and wisdom, he had successfully defeated the enemy. He knew that this was just another challenge on the way to the spiritual power core, and he was getting closer and closer to it. Sumu turned and walked towards the door, emitting a strange red light. When he approached, the door slowly opened, and a powerful and complex spiritual power fluctuation rushed towards him, as if telling the secrets behind the door. Behind the door was a huge circular space. In the center of the space, a spiritual power core emitting a faint light was suspended in the air. The surface was covered with cracks, and the light flickered unsteadily, as if it could go out at any time. Sumo took a deep breath and walked towards the spiritual power core. He knew that the arduous task of repairing the spiritual power core was about to begin, and this was also the key to leaving this mysterious world. The story continues. More exciting content is yet to come. Subscribe as soon as possible.